ATC, it's RUSC. Take it away.
Ну, еще мультики
Hello
пойдут.
everybody, I will be your air traffic controller. For today we're gonna play Endless ATC, a very fun air traffic control game available on Steam. We will be at Amsterdam Schiphol Airport, and our goal will be to land 50 planes. We'll try to do it as fast as possible while maintaining separation between the planes and doing a safe job. Of course,
А
we
что,
have
симулятор
a
этого
challenge for every 25
диспетчера
separation. I will
аэропорта.
add some clouds to the airspace, which I will have to avoid. So if you want to make the speedrun harder, you can, of course,
Офигеть,
do that.
тебе
And we're gonna start very
нужна
soon.
воля, чтобы не идти на
So I'm gonna
работу. У
explain
меня
briefly the life
наоборот.
of
Мне
the dynamic
нужна
approach control. I will explain that during the run. But we'll show you in
воля
a
в
couple seconds.
кулаке,
First, we're
чтобы на
gonna
работу
switch the
пойти.
airport configuration. So let me go back into full screen mode, and then we can start. So maybe you can do a countdown in the crowd from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go! All right, so we're gonna start with this airport configuration. So we are in Amsterdam airspace. This is a simplified version of the Amsterdam airport. Our goal is to guide planes to the runway. So first we'll line up this plane to runway 18 right, which will be the runway in use for landing for now. So I'm gonna descend the plane to 3,000
Тут
feet
такое
and increase
схематичное
speed to 220 knots. So we do
изображение
some nautical
Стендавского
units.
аэропорта.
So 1 feet is of course 30 centimeters, and nautical mile is about 1.8 kilometers. Second plane in line will be the Tango Charlie Victor 36 Bravo, which I will already turn to the left, reduce its speed and descend it to 4,000 feet. Our goal will be to maintain
Мы вот
vertical and
можем
lateral separation
манипулировать
between the
самолетами,
planes.
которые
So it's a
приближаются
minimum of
в
1,000 feet
аэропорт.
vertical separation or 3 nautical miles in lateral separation. So you don't need
Регулировать
both, but only one
высоту,
of these
скорость
separations.
и
We will have also to
направление,
handle
в
the
какую сторону он
takeoffs, so
полетит.
we'll have to climb them and then send them to en route, which is what I do in France. I do en route control. I will explain that a bit later. Right now we have already 4 planes in control, and then we'll get some takeoff. So air traffic control, it's very fun. It's not something that a lot of people know, because we work in towers and people don't really hear that much about us. But it's a very, very cool job and very exciting. It is indeed stressful as well, as some people may say. Now we have a Charlie Kilo flight 1356 that is just calling in. I will put back the sound. I just forgot to put back the sound.
Не, я
So
работу
the
и так
planes
потерял.
are just gonna call me. There you go.
Я,
So the Charlie
к
Kilo
сожалению, в
will turn
услугах
it
не
and
нуждаюсь.
descend it to 3,000 feet. 4,000 feet, my bad. So on the right side, I will first descend them to 3,000 feet, and then on the left side to 4,000 feet. We will line them up on the runway axis. The reason why the runway is called 18 right is because it is oriented towards 180 degrees on a compass. So you land southbound, and it's the right runway, because at Amsterdam Airport you have 6 different runways. So 3 parallel runways, and then you have 3 other runways in different orientation, because planes have to land with backtrack wind in order to reduce the landing distance. I can already shorten maybe the Austrian plane a little bit, and we are getting a lot of arrival. It seems like a busy day at the Schiphol Airport.
Air Canada 846 Heavy, passing 1,600 on the Burgi departure.
And so there you go. This is our first departure. So there is this Charlie Kilo 1356 plane that could be dangerous. So what we're going to do is climb the Air Canada plane and told him to expedite climb in order to avoid having
первое
some problems
прибытие,
with the planes. We can
но
maintain lateral or vertical separation.
вот этот
Michael
самолет,
844
который
flight will be
снизу,
next.
ближайший, мы
Standard
его
accuracy 22
не можем посадить, поэтому его отправляем на
6,000
еще один круг.
feet. And then once they are lined up on the runway axis, so this is an ILS landing, so instrument landing system. First you line up on the runway, and then you follow a glide slope towards the runway. And we will need to reach at least 4,000 feet at this point, 3,000 feet here, 2,000 feet here, and then we just send the planes to the tower. So we have a lot of planes calling us right now. We have a Sierra Alpha 59 plane. So the reason why I'm saying this call sign this way is to avoid some communication mistakes. So we have the aeronautical alphabet. So we have one word for each letter, which makes it so that there is no confusion. And so right now the Alpha Uniform India's 563 plane will soon be lined up on the runway. Then it's going to be Tango Charlie Victor. Probably going to put the
Не знаю,
Big
потом новости
Kilo
почитаешь,
plane
если
and
это...
then the KLM 844.
Узнаешь, попал ли какой-то
Start
самолет в
of
Амстердаме по
this game, so
вине
we'll do that
спидранера или нет.
right now. So this game is not present on speedrun.com because you don't really speedrun air traffic control in real life. It's just a showcase of what air traffic control looks like in real life. So a plane during its flight, at first it would be parked on the ground. It would receive startup clearance by a controller in the tower, and then it would be pushed by a tug because commercial planes can't go in a reverse; they can only go forward. Then there would be they would taxi to the holding point just before the runway. They would take off, so they would switch to another controller, be cleared for takeoff, and then they would just
Кстати,
start
только
turning
проснулся.
in the
Вот это...
approach sector.
Там
And
не
if you are
посадка
very
была, а
high, you will
отправление
send them to
наоборот.
the en route center, just like here for this
Я
plane.
там чего один
And
самолет
after
увел,
that, they do en
который
route,
был
so
на
then
посадку.
file a route.
То есть
And
наоборот.
my job as an air traffic controller in en route is to finish the climb of the planes, start the descent of the planes that are about to be landing in several airports, and also try to shortcut the planes and avoid separation incidents.
То есть,
So
получается,
right now we
те
can
вот
already
эти
turn
вот
the Alpha
фиолетовые
Uniform India
самолеты, это
563
те,
plane
которые
to the left,
отправляются, а
and be
зеленый,
reaching
который на
ILS. So
посадку.
the message will look like this: Alpha Uniform India 563, turn the left, heading 220, intercept ILS 18 right, report when established, and of course descend 2,000 feet. Going to reduce the speed of the plane to 180 knots. So the speed restriction is 160 knots, a couple nautical miles before the runway.
Can I quickly butt in?
Yep.
We have another restriction because Bernhard donated $25 saying, hey buddy, Bernhard from behind here. Looks like a severe CB just popped up north of the airport, hopefully.
Oh, it's off, sadly.
So just to remind everyone, if you donated $25, we'll have to put a cloud up to make the game a little bit harder.
And so the location
тут
of the
еще
planes
прикол с
will be
донатами
random, so we
есть.
have to avoid
Что
them
если
at any cost,
кто-то
else we will lose some skill points, and we don't
донатит
want the cloud to
25
you don't
бачей,
want the plane to be in a thunderstorm, they try to
то
avoid it
в
in
игру
real life.
добавляются
You
облака,
can be
чтобы
in
было
normal cloud, but in
труднее за
thunderstorm,
игрой
you don't want
следить.
to be in a thunderstorm. So we are already at zero landing because we start up very lightly. We only have one runway for arrivals right now, but in normal day operation,
Получается, вот эта вот линия точками — это посадочная полоса,
but mostly in peak
и
hours
вот
it's
уже
3 runways.
вроде
So two
как
runway for takeoff and one for landing when you have a lot of takeoffs, and the other way around
самолеты
when you have a
на
lot of
посадку
landings,
подходят.
depending on the time of the day. The Alpha Lima 519 plane just called me, so I will already turn it to a northbound heading, descend it to 4,000 feet, and also reduce the speed of the plane. You have different kind of planes, different wake turbulence category as we call them. So you have the light planes like the Alpha Uniform India 563, and then you may have some heavy planes like the Boeing 777, for example. And you have to put a bigger separation between the smaller plane and the lighter and the bigger planes because you have some wake turbulence. Basically, the airflow behind the airplane is moving a lot, and this could cause some issue. There's a lighter plane behind, like the lighter plane could quickly tilt to the side, and this is why we put some separation between these planes. So the Alpha Uniform India 563 is already established on the localizer, ready to land. So we're going to send it over to the tower. So Alpha Uniform India 563, contact tower, and then I would save the frequency. And the pilot would immediately read back my message to make sure.
Но здесь, в принципе, симулятор посадки самолетов, мы за диспетчер играем. Мы управляем самолетами, куда они должны летать, с какой скоростью и высотой. Здесь учитывается физика самолетов, как они летают.
You do have to do a lot of messages to the plane. So there you go. We're gonna descend this plane to 200 to 4,000 feet. This orange flight will turn it to the right. So I'm using the call signs of the plane. So each company has a call sign. For KLM, it's KLM, but for some other companies like TFL, this would be orange. And sometimes you have some cool call signs, like for British Airways, it's called Speedbird, which is pretty fun. I would send
Тут игра причем идет в реальном времени.
the tower, And so due
Но
here,
очень
so this will
медленно.
be the KLM Transavia. The Transavia called me, so it's sent now to the tower. And you may have a donation to read if you want.
Yes, we have another hashtag ADC by Cloudinity, saying, my guy Rostad's doing approach mind blown. Greetings from Germany, my guy. Let's add a cloud. Thank you so much for your donation.
All right, so let's add another cloud. Oh, we're pretty lucky for now. We only have clouds in the south of the airport.
Ну,
so
задонатили
not
на
much
еще
so
одно
far.
облачко.
I do
Но
need
раннеру
another
пока что
plane
везет,
pretty
нет
quickly if I
особо
want to
мест,
complete
которые
next
бы ему
sequence.
помешали.
KLM 844, so this was not a very good sequence. I don't do approach control, I do en route control, so I'm a bit rusty on approach control, but I will try to do my best. So the KLM 907 will be the last plane in the sequence, so I'm gonna turn it southbound, already descended to 5,000 feet, just to make sure that I have no issue with the other planes.
Departure.
Because if we
KLM
ever lose
801 Passing
radio
2000
contact
on
with the
Necker
planes,
departure.
they could infringe separation minima. KLM 80 Yankee X-ray just called me. I can climb it with first seed altitude. So the seed is a standard initial departure. It's a path that is followed for the plane for its departure. Same for the arrivals. All the planes will arrive on 3 different points at Amsterdam Airport. Some of them will arrive in the northwest, in the northeast, or in the southwest. And then you just have to line them up to the runway. So this KLM plane can already intercept the ILS. I will descend the Charlie Kilo flight to 2,000 feet. And this orange route has not descended yet, so I will already descend it to 3,000 feet. We don't get a lot of takeoff for now. We do have a lot of arrival, already 8 planes in control. So this game is highly customizable. This is only the simplified version of Amsterdam Airport. The community has made some more realistic versions of Amsterdam Airport and other airports. There is also some increasing difficulty. You can go up to 50 planes at the same time. You can have some go-arounds, like in real life, and then some wake turbulence, and a lot of other stuff.
Здесь, в принципе,
in real life.
игра с кучей настроек. То есть уж сейчас вы видите, это более упрощенная версия стандарского аэропорта. Но можно сделать, как в реальной жизни, вообще сделать, чтобы это отправлялось дофига самолетов одновременно. Управлять, кто зачем летит. Там самолеты могут круги делать, если не совпадают особое расписание.
And then we're going to continue our sequence. So we're going to land the KLM 844. After that, land the Scandinavian 59er. And after that, the orange 152.
И вот
And then the next
только сейчас
Austrian 519er, KLM 195, KLM 907, and probably some other planes that will arrive in between. So, now the Charlie Kilo,
И вот только сейчас мы посадили один самолет. Ну а тут еще 2 на подходе. Тут еще есть такое обозначение, как минимальное расстояние между самолетами. Это тоже надо соблюдать.
Below 4,000 feet, sometimes due to obstacles or due to terrain if you are in a mountainous area. So we'll only descend it to 4,000 feet. And the KLM 844, I didn't descend it to 2,000 feet yet, so I'm going to do that right now. Turn the Scandinavian 59er plane, let it intercept the ILS, descend it to 2,000 feet. And as I was talking about speed,
то есть, по сути, вот эти все первые 10 минут — это только сетап на 15 приземлений.
The aircraft type, so you have a variety of planes like a 787, which is one of the biggest commercial planes, and the planes that we mostly see in real life are the Boeing 737 and the Airbus 320 family, which are the planes used by most of the low-cost companies. And yes, so there you go. We do have another departure that is going northbound. So I'm going to change the label just so I can see a bit better. Let me go back to the basic label.
Здесь также можно смотреть различные статы, различные описания самолетов.
the Scandinavian 590 is lined up for the runway. The orange 1342 will be next in line, so I can already turn it to a heading of a 240. And then the Transava 216 I can also turn. I will put it in between some of these planes. So let me turn the KLM 97 this way. So we do turn the planes a lot in approach to try to reduce the amount of messages that you send to pilots, because if you have a lot of planes, you don't have much time to send all the messages on the frequency, because pilots have to read back, and sometimes they may not understand what you said, so you may have to read back twice.
Но здесь есть возможность того, что пилот может не понять ту команду, которую ты самолетом даешь, и порой надо повторять по 2 раза. И когда активных самолетов больше в районе нашего аэропорта, вы можете заметить это по кольцу внешнему, то становится все сложнее, и время на потупить становится все меньше.
So very busy airport, and you can have a look on flight radar, maybe after the run, to see how many planes they are in the sky and next to Amsterdam airport. At my job, I do get a lot of Amsterdam arrivals, and you have to handle the descent of these planes along with the climb of other planes that are
Я думаю, сделать что-то непотребное самолетами — это первое, что ты в этой игре сделаешь, учитывая, сколько параметров эта игра учитывает.
KLM 999, turn the KLM 997 to the left, descend it to 4,000 feet.
Scandinavian 806.
The Transava 216 I can already descend to 3,000 feet as well, and then turn fully to the right to a northbound heading, and I will see how I will put these planes on the runway. Then the Singapore 110 plane just called me. He has made a long flight, very, very tired, but they have to lose some time because there's so many planes calling us right now. So we're going to clearly reduce the speed of this one. And gonna wait maybe for our first Rotterdam.
Но уже три посадки сделано. И 8 самолетов у нас в радиусе связи.
So there you go. I just missed the ILS clearance for this orange flight, so it's gonna overshoot the ILS and then turn back to the left and intercept the ILS again. So you have to be very reactive in air traffic control. You need to be awake and be. So this is why it's a job that is pretty stressful. You have to be very, very reactive to what the planes are doing. But for now, there is no incident with all of these planes. So if you want to make the run harder, you can do some $25 donation in order to have some clouds. Maybe we'll get unlucky and have a cloud right on the runway axis. So we will see how it goes. Yeah, so KLM 909 is pretty good heading. It's going to be behind the KLM 1905. I can probably shorten this KLM 1905 a little bit to this heading. I will intercept the ILS with the Austrian 519, send it to 2,000 feet as well. I will descend the orange flight to 2,000 feet, send it to the tower. And now we can continue our sequence of planes. I will show you some of the custom airports at the very end of the run, so you can see what the community has made on this game. I really encourage you to try out the game if you're interested in air traffic control. This is probably by far the best air traffic control simulator. It only does radar work. It's not en route control or tower control. But you can also do some air traffic control stuff on Flight Simulator. You do have some active communities in Flight Simulator where you can imitate real-life operation. So some people will fly the planes and some others will act as the controllers on VATSIM and EVAO, for example. So this is some
Вообще ранее советуют поиграть в эту игру, если вас интересует подобная профессия, потому что это лучший симулятор воздушного трафика. И что тут не только можно кнопочки тыкать, но еще различные операции проводить.
So Bravo is the letter of the ATC, which is the weather information system. So there is a new message recorded every 30 minutes or so with all the information that the plane needs, that the pilots need for landing, like the runway news.
Или можете как бы поиграть в эту игру и косплеить Ашота из Жмых Airlines.
contractual 130 and direct to Bergy. And now we already have 10 planes in control. So it started to become a bit hectic. So we're going to intercept the runway with a KLM 1905 right there. Next one in line will be KLM 909. We can already descend it to 2,000 feet. And we need to intercept the ILS with an angle that is about 30 degrees for some.
Тут еще учитываются, кстати, какие самолеты прилетают, какой модели.
We've got a KLM plane that just called in as well, so we're going to reduce the speed and descend it to 3,000 feet just like so. Yeah, so KLM 913, we have nothing left to do on this plane, so we can already send it to en route control. And we can line up the next plane in the sequence, which will be KLM 909. And after that, we're going to do the Transavia 216 mics. We're going to turn it to the left. And they're going to check the speed, going to reduce the speed to 220 knots. So we get the position of the planes from radar services. And because radar is not that accurate, this is why we need some 3 nautical miles lateral separation between the planes. Because you have to remember that planes are going very fast.
Но уже 5 посадок, 5 приземлений, еще 10 осталось.
But in en route, planes can go as fast as 900 kilometers an hour. So even a 10-kilometer distance between planes, if you had them facing each other in 20 seconds, they would be at the same position. So this is why you need these big separation minima in terms of lateral separation. So let's see what we can do. The Singapore plane, gonna turn it to the right just like so and see how we will organize our sequence with that plane. Transavia 216 Max seems to be in a good position. I can already turn the KLM 909 and intercept the ILS, descend to 2,000 feet. Also reduce the speed to 180 knots.
Martin Air 7957 Heavy, passing 1,800, Andic.
So this departure is going to be no issue. It's going northeast bound to the Andic point.
Approach, KLM 12.
KLM 12, hello, identified, on left heading
Уже
020,
половина.
descend 3,000
Почти.
feet, QNH 1013. So the QNH is the pressure at the airport. So you, with the altimeter, they use pressure because the pressure will reduce by 1 hectopascal every 30 meters, if I remember correctly. Might be wrong, I don't work in tower anymore.
Да, вы как прикиньте, вы если самолетом летаете, потенциально сидит вот такой же человек, как вот сейчас на спидранере, управляет самолетами, говорит, куда летать, что делать.
Next one in line, there should be Speedbird 4327. I forgot to turn the KLM 907 right there, so I'm gonna have to adapt and change the sequence. So you do have to adapt your solution in air traffic control. You might try a solution and then you see that it doesn't work, so you have to quickly react and try another solution. It's you shouldn't overreact. You need to analyze stuff first, of course, in air traffic control for safe operation, but sometimes things do not go as planned, and this is why you have to react immediately. So right there, for example, the distance between these two planes is less.
Здесь вообще эта игра не о том, чтобы сразу же реагировать и принимать решения. Тут надо больше анализировать, что происходит. Но иногда вещи происходят не так, как планировалось, поэтому иногда приходится решать быстро, что происходит, что делать в критических ситуациях.
To the runway axis. After that would be the KLM 55 Papa Kilo and the Delta Alpha Lima, the Delta 9057. And yes, people are saying in the chat, there is a lot of planes. Most of the time we handle up to 20 planes, but 20 planes is already a lot, at least in en route control. In approach, because you have to do way more messages than in en route, you may handle less planes.
Passing 79er, descending flight level 70.
So gonna turn this boy to the right, so this is another heavy plane. It's sad that we don't see the airport origin of all of these planes. We know that they are all going to Amsterdam, but we don't know where they came from. But this is very realistic. Like you see a lot of KLM planes like you would see at Schiphol Airport. So basically the way that the airport files work in this game is with some text files where you send a lot, where you put a lot of information in the text file. So this is a highly customizable game. You can even make up your own airport if you wish to. So
А у тебя в этой игре еще можно, собственно, и аэропорт
the
замутить.
plane and then choose in which order I will line it up on the runway. This KLM to 1.0
Так что можно реально
and
создать
then we will continue.
свой
Do
аэропорт
we have any
Жмых
donations
Airlines.
for now? I will
Yes, we got an anonymous $25
KLM
donation,
heavy.
and it says that we have to add another happy little cloud. Thank you so much.
So it seems like we are very lucky, but if we
Добавили
get a
еще
lot of
одно маленькое
arrivals,
счастливое
the
облачко,
clouds are moving
как
northbound,
из, из
might be
видосов Боба
possible
Росса.
issue. So yeah, the location of the cloud is totally random. Most of the
KLM
clouds
22
are going to
heavy.
be over
At
land,
runway
but
climbing flight level 60.
sometimes they can be over
End
the
of
water.
departure.
Speed rate can already turn right now into the ILS. That was a bit late for the message. Oh, there you go. And now we have two runways at the same time. So basically we would line up the planes on the two different runway. So what I could do right now is, for example, land the KLM 97 plane on the 18 centered runway, but I will just line it up on this one. So let's reduce the speed of the plane, descend it to 2,000 feet. And we're still going to maintain 1,000 feet separation between these planes, even if they go to some different runways. So I would descend all of these planes on the left side to 2,000 feet, and then the planes on the right side would be descended first to 3,000 feet, and then once they intercept the runway axis, I could then safely descend them to 2,000 feet. Let's turn this delta plane so that it can follow the KLM 12, and we have a KLM 14 November.
Ну, два самолета довольно рядом были. Но ранее их размашнил хорошо.
And someone decided to land on the
Да, уже
taxiway.
перевалились за
They tried
зенит.
to land on the taxiway. Thank God they didn't. So the Singapore plane, we can already let it intercept the ILS.
Transavia 39er Lima. From
And we
Rotterdam.
can also
Passing one flight climbing to
shortcut
3,000
all of
feet.
these planes on the
End of
right side. Send this one to 3,000 feet. So the plane that just called me is
Confirm that we
probably
are clear
this
to approach
Transavia
runway 18
39er Lima departure from Rotterdam Airport. So there's going to be no issue with that plane. So we will soon be able to send it to the en route controllers, which we can already do with the KLM 22 Lima. So this one, it hasn't been cleared to the LS yet. So there you go, just some notification on the screen to remind me that I need to clear the plane to the ILS. And we are already at 8 landings, so that's going to be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So we should be done in about less than 10 minutes.
О, мы по прогнозам спидранеров успеваем estimate.
But maybe we'll get another donation and one cloud right in the middle of the runway localizer, which would be very, very unfortunate, of course. So KLM 55 Papa Kilo could land next in line. Then this one will be next, and then KLM 181 and Transavia 39 Lima can be sent to the radar controllers.
Speaking of donations,
Yep.
we've just got a $30 donation by Cloudinity saying hashtag ADC.
Ну, что-то облачка попадаются не туда, куда надо.
Just mentioning that we can put more bits and donations towards the incentive for Risk of Rain to make that game just a little bit harder because it's not hard enough already.
Right, so we didn't get lucky, but maybe at the very end of the run, I will try to add in a couple more clouds. Maybe you can try right now to see if any cloud will pop up right in the runway axis. I'm going to intercept the LS with this plane. Let's see now. Okay, seems like the clouds are only. Oh, there you go. We got one cloud on the Rotterdam runway. Sadly, none of the clouds were on the runway axis. So now it becomes a bit easier when you have two runways open for arrivals. All the planes from the west side will land on the 18 right runway, and all other planes coming from the east side of the approach control area will land on the centered runway. And we still have only one runway for takeoff, so runway 24. And in Amsterdam, you can't use the runway in.
А еще вот одно облачко рядом с аэропортом
Some runways, like runway 24, you can only
заспавнилось.
southbound and not northbound because this is where the Amsterdam city is located, and you want to reduce the noise nuisance. So, are we going to get any separation issue with this plane? Yeah, maybe. We'll have to check because this plane is not established yet. So I will descend it to 1,600 feet. I'm going to send the KLM 97 plane to the tower. 55 Kilo will be able to line up on the runway pretty soon. KLM 21 will turn to the left. 12, I will turn it pretty soon. You can turn the KLM 181 northbound. Send this KLM 48 kilo to 4,000 feet. So it's going to be pretty close, but should be fine. We'll see. KLM 21, we're going to intercept.
Вот тут один самолет как-то рискованно приземляется, но вроде бы должно быть все нормально.
The KLM 657 Lima, who just called us to 3,000 feet, reduce the speed. There you go. And now we have a Vueling 077, which is going to line up perfectly behind all of these planes. So we have a good sequence on the 18 right runway. KLM 55 kilo will need to intercept right now. But it was a bit late. You need to react very, very fast in this kind of situations. I'm going to send the Singapore 110 plane to the tower controllers. Their job will just be to give the landing clearance, and then the plane will have to exit the taxiway, and they will be brought to the parking area by the ground controllers. So now the KLM 55 kilo is going to overshoot the runway axis, but it's going to come back by turning even further to the right. And now we have our first Rotterdam arrival. So sadly, we won't see it land because it's going to be the end of the run, but I will be able to speed up the game a little bit at the end, just so you can see the impact of clouds on these planes. So I'm going to descend this one to 5,000 feet only. Or maybe the best thing I could do is descend this one to 4,000 feet and the other one to 5,000, because this one is already higher, the beauty plane, so that we make sure that there is no issue between these planes. KLM-21 can intercept the ILS right there, and then once it will be established, I will be able to descend it to 2,000 feet. I will descend this one to 1,600. Turn the KLM-12 to the right. This Delta plane, it's a bit too close to the runway axis, so you would want them to be like on the northbound heading and then do a heavy right turn and intercept the runway axis. KLM 14 November is next in line. 48 kilo will be the one after. So 181 can already turn it to the left. Vueling 087 as well. There you go. And we've got another.
Ну, а 4 самолета осталось
So it's going to
приземлить.
the left. It's probably going to turn to the left. So what I will do is instead turn it to the right in order to avoid these clouds. Climb it first to 9,000 feet. There you go. VKLM 7.
О, Спиран хочет показать, что облака делают. Насколько они жизнь усложняют, поэтому развернул самолет в Майами.
I made a slight mistake right there by descending the KLM 769 to 2,000 feet. So just gonna make sure that there is no separation incident.
Out of 1,800 climbing flight level 60. Andic departure.
So we have another departure here that is gonna be no issue. This is northbound plane. We are at 11 landings so far, and soon we'll be at 15. KLM 769 climbing back to 3,000, that's good. And then let's intercept again the runway axis. That was a slight mistake. Well, there is the vertical rate to separate the two. So Cloudinity is in the chat, is a real-life approach controller in Germany. He's also a Trackmania player, because I mostly play Trackmania games, but I decided to submit this game to ESA because I thought it would be funny to show what air traffic control looks like, because it's not a job that most people know about. So let's see, we're 12 landings, gonna get the 13th right there, 14th soon, and the 15th one. The KLM 769 is gonna be next in line. The Delta will turn it soon. KLM 48 kilo can go northbound, reduce the speed to 180 knots, descend to 3,000 feet. Oh wait, no. Only 4,000, because this plane is already
Тупо космические рейнджеры.
The approach controllers, same for Papa Hotel Charlie, seems to be on a good axis. It's surely going to be above the cloud, so we can already send it to the radar controllers.
Ryanair 9er Papa.
So there you go. This plane just called in. Gonna also reduce the speed and line it up on the left runway. We have way more planes on this runway than on the other ones. But what I could do is, for example, to line up this Delta plane on the 18 centered runway instead of the 18 right runway. This is something that you can do. And yep, there you go. So we are at 13 landings so far, and we should be done just below estimate or just slightly over estimate at 35 minutes.
Climbing flight level 060.
KLM 825, hello, identified, climb flight level 130, Valco departure. And then
Диабло
Mark
в
had to
космосе.
expedite the climb of this plane just so it could be over the Ryanair 909 Papa. Gonna send the KLM-12 to the
Ну-ка,
tower. Same
успеет
with
за
the
минуту два
737
самолета
do the same.
приземлить?
Reduce the speed of the KLM-657 mic because it's a bit too close to the KLM in front.
KLM1 Zulu.
Oh, so I'm gonna line up the Delta 9057 to the runway. Next in line will be the 14 November. This one is a bit too fast as well, so I will turn it a bit to the left. And we'll continue the sequence. And probably gonna have the 15th landing in just a couple of seconds. Let's see. So this is gonna be our last landing, and it's gonna be time in a couple seconds. And
О, последний самолет остался.
wait for it. 14 landings, soon 15. Right, gonna give the ILS interception clearance to that plane. It's taking time to land, but surely, there you go. So,
Почти. Чашечки затрещали.
Some small mistakes because I'm not
Панели
used to
чуть-чуть
approach control anymore, but I hope
в предвкушении биты.
you learn some stuff about air traffic control. So we can see now, we can speed up the game and see what clouds do to the planes. For example, on the Beauty 19089 plane. So this is sped up at 20 speed. So all of these planes are just exiting the airspace now. And you will see that my score, or you don't see my score yet, but there you go. The plane is now in a turbulence, and of course it's not good. It's not a good thing. So flying through a thunderstorm, right there you have two planes at the same altitude that are too close to one another. So there's a separation.
О, вот показывали, что облака делают, что бывает, если два самолета на одной и той же высоте.
The Amsterdam plane, so they're all talking at the same time. So I'm gonna maybe just remove the sound. There you go. So this is a more realistic view of the Amsterdam.
А вот это более реалистичный амстердамский аэропорт.
You have Amsterdam Airport, and you see all of the coastline. And the reason why I decided to play on the original game version is because we first have one runway, then two runways, and then we have also a secondary airport. So you have a progressive difficulty, which you also have right there, but you already have all the runways open. So it makes it a bit less interesting to present the game. Some other notable airport made by the community are the Copenhagen Airport, where most of us landed to come to the event. So a pretty simple airport.
О, показывают аэропорт, в котором приземлились раннеры, потому что это Швеция.
Secondary airport in the vicinity. And planes also arrive much higher right there. They arrive at 19,000 feet, which is about 6 kilometers high. And then the last two airports that I want to show, the first one is Nice, which is one of the most beautiful approaches in Flight Simulator and in real life, because this is the Mediterranean coastline, and it's a beautiful approach on the sea. So I recommend doing that on Flight Simulator if you're an av geek. And then the very last airport that I wanted to show is Atlanta Airport, which is the busiest airport by passenger traffic. And as you can see, you already have 3 parallel runways for arrival, 2 parallel